I believe the concept of the Tao goes back to very ancient times, as is mentioned in the Bible itself. That the languages all go back to one original culture in the Middle East, in Babylon. The Hebrew word or Tao or Tov, meaning the good, the absolute, the completion, the right, the way. Um, the term Torah, um, uh, even the name of David himself, Dowday, which means to clutch the way. David took up the stone and used it in his sling. So throughout language, throughout culture, throughout history, Tao seems to come up. Tao is there in the very beginning. Tao is there in Genesis. So under the word Tao, which is the vision when God sees that it is good. So that it's completed at that point. God structures the universe through this principle. Um, and that really seems to be exactly what's being described in the Tao Te Ching as well. The Tao Te Ching seems to be going back to this fundamental place in the very beginning, where things are sort of hazy and things aren't physical in their physical makeup as they are now, and they were made in a process, an unraveling process taking place. So Tao really seems to fit the principle of the Tao, in theory, being carried on through ancient times, into China and into the cultural setting of Taoism. So that's the first principle that I want to try to get across, is that I do believe it's the term Tao and the concept is rooted in ancient times through the Bible itself, through the story of the Bible. So the idea of the Tao, and the word itself. So um, jumping up to Daniel the prophet, Daniel's living, all of the events of the Bible happen, and history and all that. The Israelites were taken captive, and Daniel's living in Susa, Iran, and Persia, and he's seeking answers. He's trying to understand all of this stuff. It's blowing his mind. He reads Jeremiah in the book of Daniel. He reads the prophet Jeremiah, and that's what gets him interested, because Jeremiah says that 70 years they'll be held captive in Babylon. So Daniel's looking into the dating and timing and trying to figure out when this stuff was all going to come to an end and take place. And he's crying to God and praying in chapter 9. And finally in chapter 10, he appears to be outside at the river, um, in Susa, Iran, right next to the Silk Road, that's where the Silk Road would actually come into the city of Susa. So coming from the east. So anyone coming into Susa from the east would be coming in from this direction. Um, Daniel meets a mysterious man at this point. The man is described as wearing. Daniel mourns for 21 days, and the man says, "Do not be afraid. Since the first day you set your mind to humble yourself, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. The prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Micheal, one of the chief princes, came to rescue me, came to deliver me." So this man is a man. He's being physically held captive by the guards of Persia, which is at the border of the Silk Road would be China. China and Persia bordered each other at the city of Hangyu, where Laozi would have been coming out from. So he's caught at the border of Persia, and he's held captive by this border guard in Hangyu. There are actually two cities of Hangyu, one in eastern China and one in western China at the border of Persia. They're both called Hangyu, and the Hangyu Pass. So um, they both carry the similar story. They may have had competing uh, ideas of where they started out at or where the stories came from. I tend to think it either something similar happened in both cities, or Lao Tzu exited at the Silk Road into the Persian border right there in the border of Pakistan and China, where the Silk Road would have met at that border. So he's held captive there. Um, he's looking for the answers to God, to understanding the Tao. He's writing the Tao Te Ching, which speaks of these mysteries. And Micheal comes and rescues him from capture, and then takes him along the rest of the way on the journey. Daniel meets this mysterious old man, this mysterious man, wearing golden silk, looking like a Chinese, Chinese traveler of the day. Gold silk came from China on the Silk Road. This man, um, do you know why I have come to you? Soon I will return to contend with the prince of Persia. And when I go, the prince of Greece will rise. But first I will tell you what is first I must tell you what is written in the scroll of truth. This is in Daniel chapter 10. So he's carrying the scroll of truth. Again, scroll means Qing in China. Jing or Qing in China is scroll or teaching. And truth could be translated as Tao Te, meaning grasping the understanding, grasping the way, grasping the truth. So this could literally be translated as I must tell you what is written. I must explain to you what is written in the Tao Te Ching. So again, this is very intriguing. This whole mystery brought forth in the book of Daniel relates to a scroll called the Scroll of Truth, which is then sealed up by Daniel. The scroll is sealed in Daniel chapter 12. You jump to Daniel chapter 12, where says that Michael is going to rise again in the end times to deliver the saints who have come to the understanding, and they're going to be delivered by Michael. So again, Michael is acting here in 500 BC, or 500 BC, and it's saying Michael's going to rise again in the very end once the saints have understood the scroll. So if this is indeed the Tao Te Ching, this has very deep implications of this revelation that I'm sharing. At that time, Michael, the great prince who protects the people, will arise. There will be a time of distress such as not happened from the beginning of nations until that time. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is written in the book of life, will be delivered. Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, some to everlasting shame and contempt. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, seal up the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go to and from and must increase in knowledge. So now we have a world that's increasing knowledge. We have the internet now. We have books. We have understandings of science and quantum physics and astrology, and we can get on a computer and look up astrological events. This, I believe, is that time of this understanding. Daniel saw two others, one on the side of the riverbank with him and one on the other side. And then he sees a man standing on the waters, walking on the waters, which sounds like Jesus. So he may be seeing Laozi may be standing with him, the archangel Michael, and Jesus. That's what it sounds like. Michael seems to be with him as well, confirming this stuff and confirming the understanding that's being given. Daniel chapter 12 refers to this coming event. And Revelation chapter 10 and 12, interestingly, there are no coincidences, refer to the opening of the scroll, and Revelation 12 refers to the return of Michael. So in Daniel 12 refers to Michael, Revelation 12 refers to Michael coming as well to deliver the saints in the end times. So the activation of the scroll is what delineates the time period and the activation of the prophetic fulfillments. So I believe that what I'm revealing is this understanding. God bless you.